ค Yes, ma'am. My stage. What do you mean stage? Which? Oh, that one. Oh my God. Really? So I say something, a few questions, that's it, right? First. Yeah. Okay. Briefly, because I'm going to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Moritz. Nice to meet you, man. How are you? Let me give you my card. Oh, you translated. So I have to speak. Okay. I don't know. Translation? I don't know. Long time no see. Sitting there, okay. Okay. And you guys, move the people in. Something sweet. kommt dann kommt Sigi und dann komme ich, ne?
Genau, weil vor Sigi kommen noch zwei Leute, die was über Sigi sagen.
Ja, also wenn Sigis Applaus fertig ist, dann sollte ich so langsam in der Nähe sein, ne?
Genau, also wenn Sigi sagt, noch ein zweites Mal was sozusagen, das ist das zweite Mal Farewell. Wir sagen noch einmal kurz vielen Dank für die Präsentation, keine Ahnung. Wir wollten uns wirklich sein und
Ja, dann gleich wirklich stehen, das ist super.
thank you for coming out and this. How cool.
Jetzt, Männer. How are you? Good to see you. I'm the new guy, yeah. I'm the new Siggy, yeah. So, yes. But he's smarter and more educated. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So we'll be seeing each other for years to come. Yeah, 60 years. We're celebrating it throughout the week. This is my fourth in 3 weeks. Siggy was tired of traveling, and so he said to do it. So I did Kuala Lumpur.
สวัสดีค่ะ A very good evening and warm welcome our distinguished guests and excellencies. I am Praon Paksopon.
And I am Wasin Pantong. It is a great pleasure to be your MC for FNF 60th anniversary today.
This year, the Friedrich Naumann Foundation celebrates its 60 years anniversary of promoting freedom. Now I would like to invite Ms. Catherine Barnage to give a welcoming remark. She is the head of Thailand and Myanmar project. Please welcome Ms. Catherine Barnage.
Could I have the penner?
Sawadika, Sawadika. Honorable Chairman of the Human Rights Commission, Kun Wat.
This one. Only
Commissioner
this
Prakairat, Deputy Director, Deputy Director General, Ministry of Justice, members of the
This one.
Working Group for ASEAN Human Rights Mechanism, representatives of the Department of
Right.
Public Relations, representative of the
Thank you.
Intellectual
Thank
Property
you.
and International Trade Courts, representative of the German Embassy,
Yeah, I'm moved
of
into
the
an
EU,
apartment. I'm all good.
of ISIS, Chulalongkorn University, distinguished guests, dear friends of the Friedrich Naumann Foundation. I would very much and very warmly welcome you to tonight's celebration of the 60 years anniversary of the Friedrich Naumann Stiftung für die Freiheit. There was a recent discovery that the German language actually has 23 million words. This was discovered by an electronic dictionary data bank, and our board of directors seem to have chosen some of the most difficult to pronounce words for our name. So you know us maybe just as FNF, and please stick with this. And let's take FNF as today's motto as well. You might have noticed on the invitation cards there is FNF, and it does mean something a little different tonight. So please don't tell our board of directors that we have changed the name a little bit. Today, the first F stands for freedom, the second F stands for networking, and the third F stands for future. And now you might wonder what exactly this means. Obviously, freedom is very clear. This is the core mandate of our foundation, to promote the freedom and dignity of every individual. And this is what all our work is about. How we go about this is actually very different. We have a vast variety and very different partners. We're very, very happy to have you here with us tonight. And because our partners are so different and working in different fields, you might have not met each other yet. So that's why the second emphasis tonight is on networking. And we thought this is a really great occasion not to only have our current partners and friends with us, but also our partners and friends of the past. So we were wondering what is actually FNF's history in Thailand, and we did kind of a quite interesting discovering tour. So we discovered we have 43 years of rich history in this country, and we have lost contact to many of our alumni and partners over the years, but we've met you again. And I would very warmly like to welcome many of our former alumni and partners here tonight who we haven't met for many years, and we're very happy to have met you now again, and have been forming another alumni network of ours in the past months. The Thailand team has traveled to North Thailand and to South Thailand, has held many meetings, and there's not only a broader network now, but at the end of the year you will receive a small Christmas gift from ours in form of a publication on 40 years of Friedrich Naumann Foundation in Thailand. Thank you for joining us tonight. Now there is the third F for future. Now you've been invited to a 60 years anniversary event, and you might wonder why we're talking about the future, because normally these events are full of boring history lessons. And yes, we won't spare you of that, I'm sorry to say. But history is very much part of our identity. Hence, we're also going to talk about our history. Part of our identity is also to talk about recent, current, and important topics for the future. That's why we took this nexus of past and future here and also combined it with something else. You might have seen it in the invitation. Today is not only our anniversary event, but also we are going to bid farewell to our current regional director based here in Bangkok since 4 years, Siegfried Herzog, and we are going to welcome Moritz, our new regional director, tonight. So Ziggy, you've asked me, please, no farewell speeches, because normally farewell speeches are really boring and they're also getting us sentimental. So I promise I won't do any farewell speech, but let me say one thing. If there's anyone in the foundation who can best speak about the foundation and our history, it is you. Because you're a real devotee to freedom, if I may say so, and you're also a real history nerd. You know history in and out. But it's not only about knowledge, and here I'd like to quote a dictionary again. So this time it's the Oxford Dictionary. Knowledge, especially of high or abstruse kind, combined with enlightenment, learning, and erudition, is wisdom. So I know you will hate it to be called a wise man, but you have really personally, or I personally have the privilege of being guided by your wisdom a couple of times in my career and personal life, and I would like to thank you for that. And that is something that I heartfully share with my colleagues here in Southeast and East Asia. And tonight we also want to thank you for providing us with your guidance throughout the past years. But before we are going to throw you a big thank you party, you will have to work one more time tonight and tell us a little bit about FNF's history. So please, Siegfried Herzog, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Katrin. Dear Excellencies, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends of the Friedrich Naumann Foundation, I'd like to welcome all of you to tonight's celebration of the 60th anniversary of the Friedrich Naumann Foundation for Freedom. We are glad that you could join us today for this special occasion, and I'm of course also very privileged that you joined for this occasion. That's also very special to me. Back in May, our foundation had the central celebration event in Berlin with German Chancellor Angela Merkel as the keynote speaker, who talked about the history of our foundation. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it to Bangkok tonight, so I'll say a few words about the history of the foundation. I see that those of you who know me well are already getting a bit nervous and look at their watches because they know what happens when I start talking about history. Well, too late to escape. I would like to begin by paying a tribute to the founding fathers of the foundation. And the foremost was actually Theodor Heuss, the first president of the Federal Republic of Germany, who established the foundation in 1958 after leaving office. This was part of the rebuilding of German democracy after the evils of the Nazi dictatorship. Theodor Heuss insisted that the foundation be named after his mentor and teacher, Friedrich Naumann. Friedrich Naumann was one of the most inspiring liberal intellectuals in Imperial Germany before World War I. He brought together at that time many liberal-minded people from left and right, forming important discussion circles. His liberal writings were very widely distributed at the time, so he was one of those people who worked very hard to turn Germany into a more democratic society. Despite his early death in 1919, his ideas laid an important groundwork for the development of liberal democratic ideas in the Weimar Republic and beyond. One key concept for our patron was the idea that we have to foster citizens' participation by providing civic education. It led to the creation of the Berlin-based Citizens Academy, in German the Staatsbürgerschule, that he helped establish in 1918. And this institution is today part of the Free University of Berlin. But this idea was also a major inspiration for the emergence of the Friedrich Naumann Foundation. Our founder, Theodor Heuss, had witnessed the collapse of the Weimar democracy. He had been a deputy of the last Reichstag. He saw the evils of a totalitarian dictatorship that indoctrinated the public with lies and propaganda. And of course he witnessed a devastating war that left Germany in ruins. And when he analyzed what had gone wrong, one reason was that he had too few dedicated supporters. The democratic ideas were not supported by enough people. And so he understood the importance of solidifying democracy and liberalism in post-war Germany by a broad public outreach, by civic education for young and old. Since then, FNF has concentrated on capacity building and civic education in the Federal Republic of Germany, through publications such as our magazine Liberal, through seminars and workshops in our own academy, to giving stipends to smart and socially active students, and to other instruments, also to keeping the memory of liberal history alive through our own archives. We continue to do so because, as we have to admit, the defense of liberal and democratic values against the seductions of authoritarianism, of populism, is a permanent challenge. That fight is never over. In this way, FNF has tried to make its contribution to Germany's democracy. We also realize the need in the last years to raise the profile of liberal ideas, to raise the profile of the defense of democratic values. So we have introduced an annual event in our capital, the so-called Freedom Speech, with a series of high-profile public intellectuals as speakers. But we're not just working in Germany. In the 1960s, the foundation started work in the international cooperation field as well. Development, after all, is not just about building roads and digging wells. It's first and foremost about building institutions to harness the full potential of a country and of a nation. Institutions of rule of law and good governance. Institutions of a dynamic market economy. Institutions of participatory democracy. There's no single blueprint for such institution building. They are shaped by each country and by each culture. And no two open societies, no two modern democracies are exactly the same. Each and everyone is different. But on the other hand, they are also shaped by mutual learning. And this is where we have been trying to make a contribution as well as part of Germany's International Development Cooperation. So in 1963, only 5 years after the establishment of the foundation, the FNF went international. And today, we continue to uphold that legacy of its founding figures in over 60 countries worldwide. including Thailand. In Thailand, we have been active now, as Katrin said, for over 40 years. First in Chiang Mai, where we helped develop grassroots organizations of civil society, and then until now in Bangkok. This cooperation has been extremely fruitful. It facilitated the exchange of many ideas and values between Germany and Thailand. And indeed, many of our guests here this evening are part of our network of partners and friends that have grown over decades. One innovation from our Thai team has been the use of games in civic education. You have seen them outside, like Sim Democracy or Be So Crazy. And these have been used widely in other countries as well. So our Thai colleagues have given something to our international work that is very valuable. In the last 60 years, FNF has worked worldwide on the development of participatory democracy, social market economy, and rule-based and rule of law based on human rights. We continue to provide platform for civic education and political dialogue to build open and peaceful societies. If you look around the world, a lot of work is still to be done inside and outside Germany. So we are committed to continue this work outlined in our founding vision. That implies regular change and constantly trying new things, new initiatives, and it also implies occasional change in roles. So today also marks the occasion of a change in the regional office here in Bangkok, where I have handed over yesterday responsibility to my successor as Regional Director, Southeast and East Asia, to Moritz Kliene-Brockhoff, who will greet you later this evening. It's been 4 more years in the region, and I will take up a new position as Regional Director for Latin America, which is going to be quite a change of scenery. I've enjoyed my time here very much. It was an honor and a privilege to work in a region that combines such a rich history, home to many great civilizations, with such dynamic societies and economies. It was, first and foremost, a learning experience, learning through dialogue and joint activities. I had a chance to travel around Thailand and participate in debate forums around the country in our Dream Thailand project that showed me the vibrancy of Thai civil society. It also brought home to me again that despite our different cultural backgrounds, we do share values that speak to the basic nature of humanity. A desire for individual freedom, for a life that allows the realization of everyone's dreams and everyone's potential. A desire for a society that balances order and freedom on the basis of human rights and the rule of law. The details differ, but the basis is shared. At the end, I would like to thank our partners and friends, and I would like to especially thank my colleagues. It is a wonderful team that made my time here memorable. I wish my successor Moritz all the best. I am sure he will do well. He has been working in this region for about 20 years, first as a journalist, then in various roles for the Friedrich Naumann Foundation, and I'm sure you will enjoy your time with him. Thank you very much for your attention. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you very much, Catherine and Siggy, for inspiring speeches. Now my partner here is going to summarize each speech in Thai language for you.
ครับก็ยินดีต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่งานเฉลิมฉลองในค่ำคืนนี้นะครับผมใคร่ขอต้อนรับทุกท่านสู่งานเฉลิมฉลองครบรอบการสถาปนา 60 ปีมูลนิธิ Friedrich Naumann พวกเรายินดีเป็นอย่างยิ่งที่ทุกท่านสามารถมาร่วมงานเฉลิมฉลองในโอกาสพิเศษนี้ในค่ำคืนนี้ครับผมอยากจะเริ่มต้นด้วยการกล่าวถึงผู้ก่อตั้งมูลนิธิFriedrich Naumann ตั้งขึ้นโดยเทโอดอร์ ฮอยส์ประธานาธิบดีแห่งสหพันธ์สาธารณรัฐเยอรมนีคนแรกหลังจากที่ท่านหมดวาระฮอยส์ตั้งชื่อมูลนิธิตามครูของเขานั่นคือ Friedrich Naumann ผู้เป็นนักเทววิทยาโปรเตสแตนต์และนักการเมืองเสรีนิยมผู้เป็นแรงบันดาลใจให้กับประชาชนชาวเยอรมันตลอดระยะเวลาที่ผ่านมามูลนิธิ Friedrich Naumann มุ่งพัฒนาศักยภาพและการให้การศึกษาหน้าที่พลเมืองทั้งในสหพันธ์สาธารณรัฐเยอรมนีและในที่ต่างๆทั่วโลกทั้งผ่านงานพิมพ์การจัดสัมมนาผ่านการให้ทุนการศึกษาและกิจกรรมอื่นๆ
How's the translation? How is the translation?
มูลนิธิ British Norman
No, no,
ได้ทำงานในประเทศไทย
You
มากว่า
have to know whose
40 ปี
glass of water
โดยเริ่ม
this is
ต้น
then.
ที่เชียงใหม่ โดย
There's
มี
a
โครง
glass
การ
of
พัฒ
water
นา
over
อง
there.
ค์
Do
ก
you
ร
know
ราก
whose
หญ้า
that is?
จากนั้นก็มาเริ่มทำงาน
just
ที่
steal it.
กรุงเทพ ความร่วมมือนี้ออกดอกออกผลเป็นอย่างดียิ่ง อีกทั้งช่วยให้เกิดการแลกเปลี่ยนเรียนรู้ระหว่างเยอรมนีและประเทศไทย 60 ปีที่ผ่านมามูลนิธิ British Norman ทำงานเพื่อพัฒนาส่งเสริมประชาธิปไตยแบบมีส่วนร่วม เศรษฐกิจแบบตลาดและหลักนิติรัฐบนฐานของสิทธิมนุษยชน ทั้งในประเทศไทยและทั่วโลก ในท้ายที่สุดนี้ผมอยากจะขอบคุณมวลมิตรของมูลนิธิและเพื่อนร่วมงานทุกท่าน ซึ่งเป็นทีมที่ยอดเยี่ยมและเป็นความทรงจำที่ดีของผมขออวยพรให้กับผู้ที่จะมารับตำแหน่งผู้อำนวยการภูมิภาคคนต่อไป และผมมั่นใจเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าเขาจะประสบความสำเร็จขอบคุณครับ Now we would like to proceed to a special session and we would like to invite คุณเพชรจารุไพบูลย์ Project Manager of the Regional Office of the British Norman Foundation to take the floor over.
Okay, thank you so much คุณตอน and อาจารย์วสินทร์นะครับโอเคเซสชั่นต่อไปนะครับจะเป็นเซสชั่นพิเศษเป็นเซสชั่นลับคือเราเตรียมเซสชันนี้สำหรับเป็นเซอร์ไพรส์ของซิกกี้นะครับผม Okay, so the next session is actually it's just a short, warm, and actually a surprise session for Kun Siggy. So he really is not aware of this. Well, how should we proceed? I really would like to proceed by reading a poem. This is a poem which is not written by a professional writer or so on. It was actually written by a staff, by our own staff, who worked with Siggy for a very long time. Well, she is our current program communications manager. She also worked with and for Siggy at the time that Siggy was still a project director in Manila.
I stay on this thing.
And
for
we are talking
questions.
about, of course, the one and only Miss
questions?
Mini Salau over there.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
a jack of all trades, a master of many. That's our regional director, whose name is
Okay.
Siggy. An economist, a historian, and a writer too. His knowledge on all fields will astonish you. He's like the museum called Smithsonian. He's an encyclopedia and a superhuman. From Smith to Keynes to Milton Friedman, different free market, no doubt he can. He stayed in Asia for many years, so saying goodbye leaves us in tears. Head office says to Latin America he goes, but our love for freedom will keep us close.
Yeah.
Well, of course, this is not the only surprise that we have for Kun Siggy. อันต่อไปนะครับผมได้พูดกลอนสั้นๆไปแล้วครับเซสชั่นส่วนต่อไปจะเป็นวิดีโอคลิปสั้นๆแค่2 มินิรับประกันว่าทุกคนไม่หิวเกินไปแน่นอน So the next one is also the thing that I would like to thank you Thailand Project and again Miss Mini Salau who spent countless nights of preparing the poem and also the next one. So let's us watch together only a 2-minute video clip that we prepared for Kun Siggy. Can we have the video clip right now?
Make sure that we don't drift into a new era of protectionism. And when we look at history, violence among states is a constant.
So this is what this matrix is all about. This is the space for the market.
One, two, three, go!
The liberal force was strong with you. For most economists, that's true.
I think that's really nice. So the session ต่อไปใน surprise session ส่วนสุดท้ายนะครับเดี๋ยวผมจะเชิญแขกผู้มีเกียรติ2ท่านมาพูดสั้นๆถึงคุณซิกกี้นะครับ So the next part of the surprise session is actually well, we would like to introduce someone who knows you quite a lot with the time that you work in Bangkok. And I will start with the lady. The lady is a human rights expert in Thailand. I would say the most prominent human rights expert in Thailand. She's some kind of person that, you know, if you want to find a speaker in human rights, you would think of her. She's just the first choice that comes to your mind. She's, of course, the co-chairperson of the working group for ASEAN Human Rights Mechanism, which has been our partner for over 2 decades. She is also the first Thai representative to the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights, and we are talking about Dr. Siprapha Pecharatmisi. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Siprapha to the stage.
Thank you, Pet. Thank you very much for your kind words. I'm trying to avoid that because it's just right to my eyes. I just like to say a few words. That's what Pet was asking me. But before I talk about Sigi, I just want to say a bit about 60th anniversary of FNF. When I reached my 60th anniversary a few years back, then I was saying to myself and to some of my friends that it was now time for retirement. But then one of my very good friends, Vitit Mantapon, that many of you know, he said, no, that's not. It's actually the next step of your life. And I guess I fully agree with him. I just want to say that for FNF, actually this is the next step to a very firm, a very firm step towards the future. And not only the future of FNF, but the future of so many people. So I wish you that firm future. About Sigi, I could not remember when I met Sigi. I'm very sorry. But I know that has been many, many years ago, at least more than 1 decade. Of course, what I can say about Sigi is that he is a friend who understands the nature of work that the working group has been doing. And actually, we know that the work that the working group has been doing is for the establishment of an effective ASEAN human rights system. After the establishment of the ASEAN Human Rights Commissions, the 2 commissions, most of our partners saw that the works of the working group is no longer relevant. And the existence of the working group itself is no longer relevant either because ASEAN got the mechanism already. But Sigi actually is among very few who understand that having a mechanism is not an end in itself, especially when the mechanism that we have are not functioning.
It's nice to be back in the same team.
Not really reliable
as 4 years ago.
To protecting and promoting rights of the people. And I think this is what we see from Sigi, in the sense that he understands and then he is very supportive.
That's nice.
And this is what I see in Sigi. Actually, I just learned philosophy of FNF, or at least the temporary use of FNF in freedom, networking, and future. And I guess I would say that Sigi has been very faithful to freedom, to networking, and to the future. And not only that, Sigi is also very faithful to friends. Thank you so much, Sigi.
Thank you so much ครับอาจารย์ศิปภา
Thank you.
The next one ส่วนต่อไปนะครับผมจะเชิญอาจารย์ทิตินันท์ขึ้นมาพูดนะครับ So next distinguished guest is also someone that I have a deep admiration for. He was also my mentor at Chulalongkorn University, and I still consider him my mentor now. Of course, I'm talking about the leading political economist in Thailand, Dr. Thitinan Phongsuchirak. He's a director of ISIS. Mind you, it's an Institute of Security and International Studies. So please join me in welcoming Ajahn Thitinan to the stage.
So Pet is one of my all-time star students, for the record. Look, I just want to talk about a couple of things. First, the FNS, and then a little bit about our work with FNS, and then of course about Siegfried Herzog. You mentioned freedom, and freedom is hard to come by around here. You also mentioned about freedom, how it came and went from the Weimar Republic and went away for a while, like returned, and then I think you have to fight very hard to keep it. 60th anniversary, congratulations. In the Thai system, in the Buddhist karmic constellation, is the 5th cycle. So it's a significant milestone. It's an extraordinary milestone. This means that FNS Friedrich Naumann Stiftung began, coincided with the launch of the Treaty of Rome, 1958. And the Treaty of Rome, of course, was the centerpiece of the post-war recovery. I think the global system was set up around these international institutions. The Treaty of Rome led eventually to European integration, almost methodically, step by step, eventually leading to a common currency, security, foreign policies, as we know, common central bank, European Central Bank, and so on. Now, global institutions are loosening, they're unraveling. There's a broad global unravel. We can see not just in Brexit, the rise of populism in Europe, but also even in America, we are seeing the disintegration of the Middle East, going back to before 1916, the Sykes-Picot Treaty. So the world is going back to the past. This is a dangerous trend. The world is not going to the future, the kind of future that we would like to see. So I think the work of FNS now is more important than even before. I think if you want to have a world as we would like it to see it, we have to work a lot harder. Germany, of course, is the anchor of the European integration, the global system. Some people say now Angela Merkel is the last champion, the last defender of freedom, of global freedom, civil liberties, in view of the rise of Trump and so on. So I think we have a lot to be thankful for, but also to be worried about. In Thailand, and then here I want to talk a little bit about our work with Friedrich Naumann. Over the years, we worked with a number of projects. We have dialogues and bridges for conversations, discussions, public forums, and I think we've had several hundreds, I can say. We have a list, I'll give that to the new director. So, for example, we have had everything. The most recent would be women in politics, trade war. We've also had a number of events on Thailand, but of course the enemy of freedom is repression. It has not been easy to stage, hold, organize a number of events that would promote, boost, and cultivate a broader, more open and freer Thailand. The peak of freedom in Thailand was in the 1990s, in my view. It's a common trend. It goes away, but it can come back. I think that a lot of people are trying to regain and retake it back, but it's a daunting road ahead. In many of our forums, Siegfried Herzog, Ziggy, he is, as Catherine said, nerdy. He is nerdy because he likes to sit not at the front, never at the front, but always